The Love Notions Lotus Blossom Blouse is being featured this week, and I wanted to take you along for the ride as I sew mine up this week. Now, the twist part of the Lotus Blossom can be a little bit tricky or seem a little bit tricky, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So first of all, let's talk fabric. For the Lotus Blossom Blouse, we need to have a fabric that looks the same on both the wrong side of the fabric and the right side of the fabric. Alternatively, if you want to create a Lotus Blossom with fabric that has two different sides, then you can piece it together. But for today, I am just using a fabric. It is this Viscose crepe jersey, and it is exactly the same as the front and the back. So let me show you what my first step in the process is. So I've cut out the pattern, and it's really only two pieces. It's a back and a front, and the front piece is really, really long because it's going to be folded up and twisted together, so it's quite a long pattern piece. So the first step in the process is to take your back, fold up the back hem, and cover stitch that or use a twin needle to finish the hem. Now, when you do that, I like to put some hem tape, some fusible hem tape on that because it's a shirt tail hem, and to get that nice curve, I like to have a little bit of structure behind it. So I use a Heat and Bond stretch adhesive in the light version, and I'll show you a picture of it here. I also use it for the neckline to keep the neckline nice and stable. It's a gradual V-neck neckline, and it does not have a band or a binding. The seam allowance is just folded under and stitched, and having a fusible web like this will work wonders. So the neckline of my Lotus Blossom is from here at the shoulder seam until here, right at the point of the neckline. And I'm going to apply this hem tape all the way across it. Now, the trick is that when we go to the other side of the neckline, we want to flip our fabric over so that we are applying hem tape or fusible web to the other side of the fabric, because the Lotus Blossom is going to have the right side of the fabric show on one side, but the wrong side of the fabric show on the other side. That's the reason why we have to have a fabric that looks the same on both sides. At this point in the process, I have pressed my necklines on either side of the front pattern piece, and I'm ready to do the twist. Okay, this part can be a little bit confusing, so I have laid out my very large pattern piece for the front. I have laid it out onto my cutting table, and it's actually so big that you can't even see the end of it down here. But I wanted to take a second to point out a couple of key things. One, I have markings made by these clips for those triangle points, which are super, super important. Now, I also want you to see that there are 2 points right here and right here. This point part is where the end of the side seam is for the garment. Both of those are the front left and the front right side seam ending. So we need to make sure that those end up level after we assemble the twist. My goal with assembling the twist is to take this point from here and flip it over and line it up from here to here, matching this triangle marking with this triangle marking. So what I'm going to do is lift it up. I'm going to hold it at the end of the neckline and at the triangle marking, and I'm going to twist it around so that this triangle marking matches with this, and this neckline ends up matched up next to this. It might look like a jumbled mess right now, but this was the triangle marking that's been matched up with both sides, and this is the end of that neckline, or the point of the neckline. And all I'm going to do right now is clip up this line, because I need to stitch or do a basting stitch from here to here, and then double check that I did the twist correctly. So the first thing that I'm going to do is find those corners that were the end of the side seam. I'm going to find those on both sides and hold them out and kind of shake it out. And then you can see that it worked. So that line of stitching goes all the way down, and then it kind of gets sucked up into this little twist that it's happening right here. And when you do the rest of the instructions in the tutorial, make sure that you have backstitched this like crazy so that it holds well, as well as at the top of the V-neck. And I am excited to put this all together and have another comfy, cozy Lotus Blossom blouse. Yay, it worked! I love this Lotus Blossom blouse. I feel like it is great to make me feel comfortable, especially when I do not want to showcase my tummy. Let me show you one more time how to do the twist. I'm using a new piece of fabric here, and I think after watching this a couple of times and or reading the tutorial, it will all make perfect sense. When you do your version, make sure that you clearly mark or pin or clip where the triangle points are and where the end of the neckline point is, because those are the things that you're going to be matching up. So find those on both sides of the front pattern piece. Then what you're going to do is grab that end of the neckline and the triangle piece, and you will match them up by twisting the fabric over. Then pin or clip from the end of the neckline to the triangle marking, and then you'll use a basting stitch to check that you got it right. Then you will proceed to follow the rest of the instructions in the tutorial, and you will have a gorgeous new top.
Taking a chance on me.